Hey guys, welcome to Ukraine Live. I'm Joe.
Anna here. Hey guys.
High five. Way to go, babe. Welcome, guys. Welcome. We're excited to talk to you today about the cost of living in Ukraine, which is really, it's elusive, honestly speaking, because some people say, you can live in Ukraine for $500 a month. Other people say no, a lot of rich people in Ukraine. So how do you know the truth of the matter? Well, we found a great source that the IMF uses, the World Bank, Forbes, BBC. It's pretty much the leading worldwide supplier of stats on cost of living around the world. And we're going to dig into that today. Cool. Hey, honey? So, guys, if you are one of the ever-increasing men that are fed up with America or whatever country you call home, and maybe you're considering, uprooting, unplugging from your homeland and living as an expat here in Ukraine. Well, I promise if that sounds like it might be you, this live stream will be invaluable in helping you with this rather difficult decision, I know, especially if a big part of your reason for coming to live in Ukraine is to find your beautiful Ukrainian wife. Okay. And decide which country to live in abroad. So today's topic, as I already mentioned, is cost of living in Ukraine. Today, we're going to compare the 37 top Ukrainian cities to answer your burning questions. So some of the burning questions we're going to answer today are, where is the cheapest? What's the cheapest city to live in Ukraine? What's the poorest? Where are people the poorest? Live with the lowest quality of life in Ukraine? Where's the cheapest place to rent, an apartment in Ukraine? And where are the best jobs for expats, for you guys in Ukraine? We get that question a lot. And where should I live in Ukraine if I'm going to come to Ukraine? It's actually a big country, 40 million plus people. Where should I live? And then, of course, the granddaddy question, what city has the most beautiful women in Ukraine? Right, huh? Honey, I'm doing all the talking.
Yes. Don't allow me to sell nothing. I don't know why you invite me. Just to,
I invited Anna to my live, guys, because, well, she's much easier to look at than me, for one. And for two,
furniture today.
and for two, I know you want to hear from her. Like, really, we want to tell you stories about how Ukrainian women, how Ukrainian people live, not just stats,
Only
right?
Women.
Only women.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, about the stats. As they say with stats, right? Garbage in, garbage out, right, guys? Stats are only as good as the source. So the main challenge is finding a reliable stat, because Ukraine government stats, well, frankly speaking, they're not exactly reliable. So I stumbled across numbeo.com years ago, but I remember when I first stumbled upon it, I was shocked. It's the world's largest cost of living database today. In 2021, with over 6.7 million self-entered cost of living, data points, and about just shy of 10,000 cities. So, they're providing real-world cost of living comparables, comps. So they give a real-world depiction of what is the cost to live in a given city. They're a trusted source of the BBC, Forbes, United Nations, IMF, World Bank, just to name a few. So without further ado, let's take a look at the stats we pulled from Numbeo to get answers to your burning questions, okay? So here's the breakdown. The breakdown of what Ukrainian people spend, their cost of living. Okay, so here you can see the percentage breakdown before we jump into the details. Yeah. And then why don't I let you take it away? Or should I? Maybe I'll explain each column and then you can take it away. Okay, so the first column is the city. Okay, and we chose the top 37 cities basically that were in Numbeo. So you've got the population, so you can see you're not living in a village, you're living in an actual city. And then the next column, regional center, that tells you whether or not it is a regional center. If it says 0, it's a regional center. If it's got number of kilometers to the regional center, you know you're not in the regional center, i.e., you know, like how many conveniences are going to be in this place, in the city I'm going to live, because you want to have a comfortable standard of living, right? Then the next column is the cost of living. That does not include rent. Then we have rent a little bit farther down. Next is flat rent, apartment rent. Now we calculated based on a 700 square foot apartment. That's 65 square meters. That's a little bit bigger than the Ukrainian average. Ukrainian average is closer to 45 square meters, which is 500 square feet, pretty small. And you'll usually have, well, often you'll have several families living in that flat. Then monthly salaries after tax. Tax? What tax in Ukraine? And then you've got flat rent. It was flat prices in column E. Yeah, so that's
In center.
Column E is flat prices to purchase in column E, 700 square feet. So then column, is it G, is flat rent. Okay, then poverty gap. This is interesting. So I calculated this out. It's not in Numbeo. It's basically the shortfall you have between your income and your total expenses, including rental expenses. So it's interesting. Hey, guys, you can see that in every city, people don't make enough to pay their monthly nut, you know, their monthly cost of living.
Oh, they make enough just to pay, and they have no money for food and other needed,
something's got to give here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by the way, guys, the link to the live Google Doc of this spreadsheet is in the description below this video, so you're welcome to check it out after the live stream. So listen, it's very, very easy to explain what is the poverty gap, but let me back out here first. Let's go back to us. So guys, the poverty gap is easily explained in that this is for a single person. This is cost of living for a single person. And one person lives with another person, right? In fact, it's not uncommon to have two families that live together in a flat. So if you back out rent from those cost of living numbers, it's back to a positive figure. So that explains that. So I think it's time to let you do some of the talking. Hey, honey. So my beautiful Anya is going to go through the different categories of expenses and kind of explain what the average Ukrainian person lives like on those numbers. Take it away, baby doll.
First, what we will talk about rent, yes. So as you can see, with this kind of income, average person cannot rent a flat for, only for herself. Even if she has very good, job, it's very rarely you can meet a woman or man, like man, maybe if he's business owner, he can, afford this. But normally, young people, they go to live to bigger cities. They found a job, and then it's very popular in Kiev or Odessa when flat owners, they give you for rent just beds. So you live, for example, for girls live in 2 bedrooms flat, and they gather together for payment for rent. It's the way how it works in Ukraine. Then if you talk about food expenses, Ukraine culture, we're very traditional in this way, and also like very healthy. Okay, maybe not super healthy, but Ukrainian kitchen, people like to eat at home. I mean, if you will talk about fast food, it's not very popular in our country to eat. People don't use it. It can be just I don't know, because you have no time to come back or to eat. Normally, when, for example, it's a family, husband go at work, so wife can give him something to eat at dinner time, or if he has some place with normal price, not restaurant, you know.
Can I ask a question?
Oh.
So does the wife usually have dinner on the table for the husband when he gets home from work in Ukraine? Is that normal?
From work, yes.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
it's normal.
I know it's a contentious point. You know, are Ukrainian women still traditional? Do they prepare dinner and have it on the table for a hardworking hubby when he gets home? So
No, it depends who come earlier. Sometimes men can meet also women, but I mean, in our culture, it's very normal to eat at home more than eating out, you know, somewhere. Even if people, they really enjoy this, you know, like even today we walk, it's winter time, and people went out and have, I don't know, picnic, even in winter. So people don't crazy about going in restaurants, and more people, of course, in winter time, because it's warm, if you want to meet with somebody, you know, without parents or so young people, they of course go, but as you can see, they don't order something crazy expensive, you know. They can order tea and some cake, you know, girls when they meet, just to make this meeting very budget, you know. They don't eat like first dish, second dish, and then, you know, drink alcohol or something like this. Or okay, can be different purpose. But I mean, restaurant, normally Ukrainian people, they order when they have a maybe big party, like a celebration of the birthday or like this, so they want to invite a lot of friends, then they don't need to become crazy about cooking, and they, you know, also maybe have no space where everybody can be together at the same time, not enough spoons or whatever, so they invite people outside. But I want to say that we talk in general, you know. It doesn't mean that all Ukrainian people, they don't have money. You can see people in restaurant, and restaurants still exist, you know, exist in Ukraine. So we just have a lot of middle class, you know. We have like big differences between very rich people and very poor people. So poor, they cannot afford going to restaurant, and it's majority of the Ukrainian people.
yeah, it's mostly 80 plus percent the working poor, and maybe less than 20% well off, and maybe 5% that are very, very rich, for sure. So where are you at, honey? Rent, food, you covered?
Yeah, it's about food, how we attitude. Normally we prefer to cook at home, yeah.
What's the quality of flats most Ukrainian people live in?
Flat?
Quality, Kyiv compared to like Sumy or Poltava or a smaller city.
In smaller city, it can be like flat 60 square meters, can be normal, you know. I grew up, for example, it was 3-room flat, and this was a little bit more than 60 square meters. But in Kyiv, because very expensive 1 square meters, people live like normally by 45, 50, not like, I don't know, 100. It's luxury, 100 square meters.
And what about the quality? Is it newly finished? Is it old, Soviet quality? Average Ukrainian. What do you think?
Young, again. Not young generation, they live in old Soviet Union buildings. But young generation, if they, for example, looking for mortgages or buying flat, they have different opinions. Sometimes it's do matter in big city, for example, in Kyiv, where situated flat, how close to underground, because it's the way how you can easily get, you know, somewhere, because Ukrainian people use a lot of public transportation. And sometimes you can hear that some people, they're looking for a property in Soviet Union buildings because they think that it's more reliable how they build, better concrete, you know,
for purchase.
Yeah, for purchase. They say we want old building because it's like, you know, good quality. Sometimes you can hear that. But young couples, young families, they say, oh, we want new energy, you know, like we want to be first owner. And if they have enough, you know, money for doing that, they will prefer to buy new.
Okay, thanks, Anne. And food, what's a typical Ukrainian kitchen? What's the family eat? Like kasha? Yeah, lots of kasha.
Kasha, they not.
Which
I
is
can say very easy to satisfy husband. Not very picky. Very easy about food. Like what will be available at home that I will eat. Yes. For example, my
not like
mother
me, honey.
said,
Not
yes,
like
my
me.
mama said it's not easy to satisfy Joseph, with his expectations.
It's a good distinguishing point, guys. Ukrainian people in the Department of Food, they're very simple, very easily satisfied, eat very simplistic meals. It can be just one egg, for example. Our daughters are happy to just, we whip up an egg, or Anna whips up an egg, and one egg on the plate, for example. That doesn't happen too much in America. It's always got to be 2 or 3 courses. So we're a lot more picky on our food. So
Yeah, I just now find out it's Western feature because I didn't understand. I thought it's just Joseph feature.
Yeah, and another thing in food is back home, we go to Costco, right? And we load up for like a month or maybe even more of ketchup you'll buy by the big containers and cereal by the kilo. And Ukrainians, they tend to shop every day or second day for produce and dairy products. And I mean, most things. So
yeah, normally when we do shopping, people look at us like it's not normal, why they buy so a lot of food like for 1 year or what?
Yeah, we shop a little bit more on the Canadian standard side. We load up a bit more than the average Ukrainian. And then transportation, hun, what's kind of the average Ukrainian person use for transportation and costs?
No, a lot of people use public transport. Even if they have a possibility to buy a car, for example, used car, like my mother or my friend, women, a lot of women, they're afraid to drive because like in Ukraine, very aggressive drivers on the road, and many ladies, they just basically are afraid, to be part of this crazy.
Yeah, the aggressive driving combined with the potholes that go down to China.
Yeah. So they say,
It's a little
okay,
bit scary sometimes.
And also bad traffic in big cities, so they say it's much more convenient using just public transport, and it's really cost very cheap. For example, underground cost 8 hryvnias divided by 28 will be in dollars, so you can calculate that it's
very cheap.
Yeah. Then marshutka, bus, small bus,
minibus, yeah,
minibus, like 10 to 15 hryvnias, doesn't, like, divided by 29 will be in dollars, so like half a dollar, depends on where, in which city. So many people adjust to this, to use public transport, but then again, if they have car, it's normally one car in a family. It's not like 2 cars or 3 cars. Children don't. It's only maybe one university where you can meet students with cars. It's maybe 2 universities. The most popular, the most expensive, the most luxury universities in
And how
Ukraine.
about Uber, honey? What's the cost of Uber in Ukraine?
Uber also cheap. I mean, compared to West.
Very cheap, guys. I mean, you can, Uber. I mean, how much did it take? Yeah, like 20 minutes would be a couple of bucks in Uber. $2-3 for 20 minutes in a taxi. Very cheap.
$3,
so transportation is
and
is,
still
is
people
quite,
don't use a lot of taxi. Yeah, but some women, they prefer taxi.
Yeah, just looking at this, it's interesting. Transportation, 13% of Ukraine's budget. Interesting.
Advert role, don't forget Bolt too. Yeah, there is competition to.
Yeah, Bolt. It's competition of Uber. Yeah, and there's a few other ones too. Okay, transportation. Now restaurants. It's what percent here? Restaurants, 14% restaurants.
Yeah, almost 14.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly about when, for example, people work. We have in the restaurant, how it's called, lunch. Yeah, special offer for lunch, special price, so people can, have dinner.
Lunch while you're at work. It's quite
Yeah,
quite cheap too. Like
Yeah,
Can be $3-4
they
for a
do
lunch.
special offer because they want
Mhm.
to involve more people
Mhm.
having it, and in the evening, I mean, of course, people sometimes meet, with friends. They want to be out, and have fun. But it's not like it's. I heard, for example, in America, like it's every Friday. People finish work, they go out. They drink a lot, like 2 days, overcome their stress and at work. I think it's not the case in Ukraine.
But most people, Ukrainians, don't eat dinners, right? They might have a lunch at work, but they don't eat out at dinner time. They eat at home, right?
Eat at home, yes. Eat
Like
at home.
95% of the time
it's
or
just
more.
special. Yeah, it's just special. They can meet with somebody, if they want this atmosphere, to go out. I don't know, to disco. It can be a restaurant, and then after party, go to disco. Something.
But not like in the West. We eat in restaurants too much, and fast food too much.
No.
For sure. Okay, clothing. Ooh,
Clothing.
Clothing and shoes. Your personal favorite.
My favorite.
Okay. I'm just kidding. No, honey, you're very reasonable. You're very reasonable with clothes, of course.
Okay, in Ukraine, because it's
What? Some women are not. Am I wrong, guys? But some women is like Gucci, Prada, all the brand names. And it's very frugal when it comes to clothing. Sorry, Annie. Okay,
maybe you'll tell
Okay,
about
clothing.
clothing if you know more. I
Clothing.
think you know more than I
But what's
know.
funny about clothing is women will they will forego eating. They will forego not spend money on all kinds of things just to save up for a pair of jeans or a dress, right? They're very serious about their clothing budget.
It's something that brings a lot of pleasure because it's directly connected to feminine energy, and women like clothes, yes, and they didn't hide this, but it's we don't talk about like a lot of girls crazy about label, clothes. No, it's just about any clothes, any news that appears in her at her home, she can wear. So in Ukraine, about clothing, what we have the biggest Kharkov, it's city where produced a lot of Ukrainian clothes and shoes factories. And then we have China, of course, supply, and then we have even from Europe what was not sold in Europe shops, they deliver it to Ukraine. It's a label. Even we have that big net. Supermarkets with all these clothes, and then even secondhand we have.
Yeah, you have like a
very
Winners.
poor people.
We have it. It's called Winners. What's it called? Reds. Yeah.
Red. Yeah.
Yeah, Red. It's like a Winners here, and it's quite popular, and it's very cheap there to buy clothes. Let's take this question. It's interesting idea, man. Can Anna explain Ukrainian women mentality? What if Western man doesn't spend much of his money on her? In other words, he's greedy. Why not earn himself and buy? Why not earn herself and buy? Yeah. Ooh. Idea man likes living dangerously. Ask a Ukrainian woman that question.
No, it's just she perceives this like spending money on a woman. It's she perceives that he cares about her. If he doesn't care about me, so why? And she cares about him in the way she can. Like cooking for him, supporting him, in be faithful to him, so being a great mother, whatever. And if he expects she will take care of financially about herself, so why then she need any man? She can do this.
But let me chime in and kind of add the man's side of it. Listen, guys, what you need to differentiate here is, again, what pond are you fishing in for your lady? Because you're fishing in a good pond of quality ladies. They're not gonna want to break the bank. That's the differentiating point. They're not gonna want you to spend a lot on them, disproportionately for clothes or vacations or whatever. They're just not going to want. They're going to be more concerned with conserving the family budget, saving for a rainy day, saving up for, another car or a better car or a house or something like that, rather than waste the money. The very frugal Ukrainian women, generally speaking, when you have a good one. So, what pond are you fishing in for your lady?
It's true. I talk about good ladies. When she will at the beginning see how if you spend money or no, because she doesn't want to be with greedy man. Really, she can test you, but as soon she will realize that you are her partner, life partner, she will take care about your money like it's her money, and she will be very smart about spending your money. She will take care about budget and trying to be not stupid with
I agree completely. So where were we, honey? I just thought we would take one question because questions are just piling in here. Clothing,
sports and vacation.
Sports and vacation, next category.
Sports, it's wouldn't be more than 7%. Yeah, here it's 6%. I just calculate with this what they give. How it's called, cost of living. Yeah, they give in Ukraine. Doesn't matter what city. The differences between the cheapest one city to the most expensive to Kiev, it's difference less than $100, and in average it's approximately $375. Yes, I don't know why I start talking about this, but I mean, so sport. Okay, I just calculate how much it's in hryvnia. So I know, for example, if woman go on some section, she has in her mind how much the section can cost, yoga or what she wants to do and what is acceptable for her budget, because she need,
But sports is a very important component of Ukrainian people's life, right? They work out. In the West, we get fat and sloppy. We don't go to the gym. But here, they really pride themselves on their look, so they go to the gym. Surprisingly, they only spend 6% on sports and their vacations.
Vacations wasn't in this column.
It just was it was because it was leisure vacations. But let's talk about vacations then. Or are you done on sports?
Okay, yes, sports, but it's not only about gym. It's very popular in Ukraine because gym is like a woman, not very woman. I don't know a lot of women who go at the gym, because when you do directly like this, it's like you masculine energy, you become a little bit, how to say?
Increase your
men's,
testosterone, manly energy.
Yeah. Okay. And really, I have a lot of in my surrounding women who's really woman, and they like kind of activity like dance or yoga or Pilates.
More feminine type sporting outfits.
Flying yoga, so this kind of sport, which is not about heavy metal and you go and push.
And honey, how about vacations? We were talking
about
preparing a little bit.
Yeah.
How do they vacation on less than 6% of their budget?
Yeah, the most poor people, they just go in Ukraine. We have Black Sea and we have Azov Sea. Azov Sea is good for children because it's very
shallow,
yeah,
knee deep. For how far out? How far do you have to walk out before?
Crazy, I don't know if you will ever will be deep. So yeah,
like in Berdansk area,
Berdyansk.
Very cheap area as well.
But actually, the problem is that sometimes you can get in a hotel, if they have some offer, like good hotel, you can pay bigger money than if you will fly to Egypt. That's why Ukrainian people, are very cautious about choosing a vacation in Ukraine compared to go to close Turkey or Egypt. And Egypt, very friendly oriented. They even now canceled visa for Ukrainian people. Before it was $25.
Now Canadians have to get a visa to go to Egypt.
Yeah.
What's with that?
Yes.
But yeah, honey, I agree. Ukrainian people, mostly families, they vacation on the seaside here, Odessa region, right?
Yeah,
Black Sea, it's relatively cheap. It's much cheaper than Odessa. And if they're not a family or if they have a little bit more of a budget, then they would find what do you call hot tours, right?
Yeah,
Turkey, Egypt, which is
many
very cheap. How
Ukrainian
much?
people used to buy hot tours. It's when you buy when you buy tour and then fly in 2 days or next day or in 3 days. So when last place is available in airplane tickets, it can be very affordable for person. So they fly. They didn't really plan in advance. A lot of Ukrainians.
Rodney saying Zatoka looks awesome. Yeah, it really
Mhm.
is. You're going to see a little bit of it in a video coming up here. So vacations.
Let me tell that,
Sorry.
for example, Ukrainian Sea, it's very good when people, when young family have babies, they don't know how it will be fly with babies. They're afraid to go so far away with small children, so they like, this fact that it's available Black Sea, good resort, so they can jump on the car, drive here very safely and come back. So many young families with children, they prefer Ukrainian resort.
Exactly. Okay, last category here is utilities.
Utilities can be very different from the city. You live at apartment on house. It's very hard now to sell in Ukraine very big house, like 500 square meters, because all Ukrainian people, they understand how much they need to pay for, make it to heat it in winter time. So people prefer more to having house which is smart and it can be adjusted, like in winter time you can live and heat small area, in summer can be bigger.
It's another reason why they like small places, right? Because very expensive to heat. And I just want to chime in and add that I was not used to it when I first got here. Ukrainian people, generally speaking, they put on sweaters and they keep the heat really low. And I would go over to someone's house and it's like freezing. I feel like I'm outside. Even Anya and I even speak about a good woman conserving the budget. We fight about it. She goes downstairs, turn the heat down to 35. I go back up, turn it to 45. And we have this battle going on. But our heating bill was $400 last month. So
it makes sense. Yes, you say you never paid this amount of money in Canada. So
no. I have paid $400 a month in Canada. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I
Absolutely.
thought it's just Ukraine because.
No, but utilities. Another thing is utilities just went up January 1st. By a lot, depending on the region, right?
No,
thanks,
not the region. No,
Zelensky. Thanks.
It's everywhere now. People block, even go with manifestation everywhere. Like they're not happy with this decision.
But 25%, 40% in some regions, utilities went up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heating. Yeah. Electric. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back and honey, let's talk a little bit more about this spreadsheet. How do I make this just full size? Okay. What else did we want to talk about here? We wanted to highlight. Can you guys see as I move that? Okay.
We want to tell where is the most beautiful ladies.
Yeah, okay. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Honey, this is what you were talking about. I wasn't sure that your point was clear. Look, guys, look at the difference between the cheapest place. Chernivtsi. Yeah, how do you say?
Chernivtsi.
Yeah, what she said. Chernivtsi. $342 is cost of living. And then down to Kyiv at 432, So you got a couple $100 there. $100. $100, a little bit more. Is the difference of cost of living between the cheapest place in Ukraine and the most expensive. $100, $340 to $430.
Okay, let me clarify. It's Chernivtsi. It's cheapest because the website Nambio have no other reported. It's from all that reported in Ukraine.
But I'm just saying, look at, it's the point we were talking about
there is
earlier.
maybe smaller city, it can be even less cost of living, but it's not reported in
Anjika,
non-bill.
our point is that
Yes.
is it poor to rich
Yes.
is $100 a month,
that
guys.
we provide, yes.
Yeah, $100 a month. So when you're talking about where should I live in Ukraine, just be aware we're only talking $100 a month as the difference in your cost of living. So it's peanuts for us, right? I want to draw your attention over to the poverty gap.
But Joseph, подожди, wait.
Okay.
if you live in Kyiv and you have abundance of restaurants, you can easily add $1,000 to your cost of living because you will
really.
go
How do you know
everything.
that? How do you know that?
I know because.
How do you know?
Because you know.
Well, you can tell everybody.
Because I all time say Joseph spent too much money on the restaurant every day. He wasn't happy with my very simple traditional cooking.
No, honey, I was happy, but we live in the center of Kyiv, so I like to go out and have a restaurant meal. And Anya's so frugal; she would stay at home and eat something, and I would go out. So there you go, guys. When you guys are getting scammed by ladies that are taking you for expensive dinners. Mine is staying home and I'm going out for food, and she's complaining about me. So yeah, but yeah, I did burn through about a G note a month on restaurants in Kyiv, and that's solo, mostly just me. So now that we're living in the country, we save off of that.
Because there is no restaurants here in winter. In summer available.
Yeah. No. Since we're talking about cost of living in Ukraine, the big
illusion
illusion or caveat, I was going to say, that I want to talk about, we should discuss here is, whose cost of living? These are Ukrainian cost of living numbers. These are how Ukrainian people live, your average Ukrainian people, right? And we said 80% about is the working poor class in Ukraine, and that's how they live. So the question is, for you looking at, becoming an expat living in Ukraine, is can you live for these figures on this budget? Can you live? So I can just say that most Western men that I know that live here, they can't live as a Ukrainian does on those numbers. So I think you need to, in my opinion, is you need to triple that budget. If you triple it, so you're talking $1,200, $1,300 up to $1,500 a month for Kyiv, you should be good. You can have a reasonable, a good standard of living. If you're going to live in a smaller community, a little bit less. But for example, we'll just share. Our monthly nut is about $3,000, and we.
But it's for people.
Yeah, but it's for people as well. This is per person, right?
And utilities for $100.
Huh?
In the utilities for $100.
Yeah, and we save on restaurant expenses, but for me. But comparatively, before I moved to Ukraine, my monthly nut in Canada was 10 grand a month. So it's still like a third, less. I mean, 2/3 less, right? So that's the caveat there. Anything you want to say about that overall?
You want to say property gap or poverty gap?
Yeah, I let's go back. Yeah, let's go back. Thanks, Vlad. So yeah, the poverty gap, I explained earlier, it's just the shortfall between income and expenses. So a negative number, the more the negative number, the worse the poverty gap. And this is explained because Ukrainian people, one person doesn't live alone in a flat. There's at least 2 people, 3 people, and often a couple of families. So that takes the poverty gap to, in reality, a positive number. I mean, that's why, I mean, you can't earn less than you spend unless you're in a debt situation, which Ukrainian people don't do debt very well. And Anna just did a video on debt, and our Anastasia went to the streets and ask ladies what they think about mortgages and debt. And that is a real serious video. You guys all need to watch that if you haven't seen that, because you will see directly what Ukrainian women think about your mortgage if you have a mortgage in America or if you rent, and what a huge negative that is for you, even with good girls. So really, if you haven't seen that video, we'll put it in the description below this video. You need to watch it. So Ukrainian women in debt. Okay, let's
that's
zip
also
over.
remember we talk about differences between families, Ukrainian and Western. That's one reason why when young couple created, they live with one of the parents' flat together, and very often it's ruined because of they have no separation, but they have no ability to have rent because of bad economic situation. They cannot afford it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look now at real estate prices in these 37 cities. Excuse me. Let's take a look. There we go. So we zipped over to the flats tab. And again, guys, this Excel spreadsheet is in Google Docs link in the description below this video. So you can go peruse and take a closer look at it. So here you have the cheapest flat at 700, based on a 700 square foot flat in, where is that? It's so small. Huh?
Nikopol.
Okay. And then the next cheapest?
Znamenka.
Okay. What she said at $16,000 for 700 square foot or 65 square meters. And then it's check it out. Let me go back and move this thing up. So right down to, you see the flat prices increasing. You've got places like Kharkov. Let's look at Kharkov there. You see that $63,000 for a flat, 700 square feet. Lviv is quite expensive. Interesting for flats, but low cost of living. Very cheap to live in Lviv, but flats are more expensive. Odessa at $76,000 for a flat, and you see in Kyiv more pricey, $127 on average for a 700 square foot flat. So there you have the real estate prices from cheapest to most expensive amongst the top 37 Ukrainian cities right here, right down to the bottom. Yeah. So anything you want to say about that, love?
All these flats situated in the center, so you can, Kyiv, of course, it's the most expensive because it's historical places, and it's capital, and Kharkov, number one, number second, I think, because as you know, Kharkov, it was the capital also of Ukraine. It's in the east of Ukraine, close to Russia.
It was. And so let's talk about the guys' burning questions. So I think we've answered most of them. Where's the cheapest place to live? Where's the best income? You can see from the spreadsheet. If you're wanting to move to Ukraine and you need to have a job, you need to just understand that the jobs are all shit here. Really, only expat jobs that I know about are English, teaching English. And I can say that varies from, I know a guy in Sumy teaches English for about $2 an hour. And then I know a guy in Kyiv who teaches for about $10 an hour. So it's a big range depending on the city, depending on your employer.
Yeah. You can get a job in also with English in international company, but they requires also that you know Russian because you need to communicate with coworkers.
And that's a problem for virtually every single guy coming here who doesn't speak Russian. So yeah, there's just no other jobs, guys. If you ever want to take on a coaching job with Match Guarantee, you're welcome to apply, and it's going to pay a lot better than teaching English here. And we do need more and more coaches as we grow. So the other thing was where are the most beautiful
Edward wrote English-speaking sales job too.
English-speaking sales job.
If it's maybe online, if you do this.
Yeah, Edward is saying
if you need maybe communicate with your team.
But they're hard to come by, Edward. It's hard to find an English-speaking sales job in a Ukrainian or Russian company. It really is. But if you can find one, yeah, it would be probably better than teaching English. What else was I gonna chime in? I lost my train of thought here. Oh yeah, most beautiful women. So you guys are always asking us, where are the most beautiful women in Ukraine geographically? So I will just say, Anya and I might have a little tiffle on this, but in the eastern part, they tend to have more Russian features, very beautiful, like Sumy, Poltava. In the west, they tend to have more soft features, softer nose, more European looking. And in the south, where we are, again, very beautiful, soft features. But I'm going to say, if I have to say, are there women more beautiful, than others in different geographic locations around Ukraine? I'm going to say that's not the question to ask. The question is just, where are you going to meet the most people? Where are you going to meet the most people? You're going to meet the most women. So it's a probabilities number, right? So where are the most people? Sumi, yeah. Vladster put that up. So Kyiv, of course, is the most people. Population of Kyiv is
Kharkov too.
Yeah.
Big cities.
I think 2.5 million, Kyiv, and then you've got Odessa, but
no, I think Kyiv more. It's maybe officially.
Yeah, maybe officially, but I say around 3 million in Kyiv. So you've got a lot of ladies there, a lot of large numbers, right? So, and look at the cost of living. It's going to cost you $100 or $200 more to live in Kyiv than to live in the cheapest small city in Ukraine. So I don't think that's the question you should be asking. The question you should be asking is, again, which pond, is the good pond of quality ladies? That's the question you need to ask yourself. So however you can meet high quality ladies, it's that pond of high quality ladies where you're meeting them, not on a PPL site, not on Tinder, for example. You need to find a way of meeting these quality ladies, regardless of what city. And then where to live. Where should I live?
Okay. And it's also important that if it's important just number, you want to try with 50 different ladies, of course it's important to be in a big city, But if you focus on the quality, I think country ladies from the small cities, they less demanding, they, better quality if you talk in general.
Honey, we got a super chat. So I got to put a super chat. Captain Cisco paid $2 to ask you this question, dear. So
does your wife cook? If what? So kind of Kartoshka free.
Kartoshka free?
No, hamburgers.
You're making her sweat. Yes, she makes great Canadian hamburgers for me.
Yes, no, what? I cook. I'm vegetarian, by the way, so Joseph have to.
She's our rabbit.
Yeah, I cook lentils
carrots
and some
lentils.
But Joseph, lentils. What today I cook? How it's called?
Garbanzo beans, like a garbanzo bean dish. So
I think you wouldn't like to eat. It's not very tasty, but very healthy. Yeah, but we both like very healthy food and some kind of salads, all time fresh salad in winter, in summer. Yeah, spinach, and. But I don't spend all
She's
my
a great cook, so I can ask you, Captain Cisco. She's a great cook. Thing is, we have a very busy life with two beautiful girls, and we want to spend as much time with them as possible. I've started in a real estate investing firm in Ukraine. So we're pretty busy. So we have a chef that comes 5 days a week, and it's very inexpensive, right? And we have a nanny that comes every day, and so she really helps out a lot. And but I love it when you cook, honey. Your borscht is the best.
Yeah, now he's not satisfied with what this woman cooks, so I don't know.
Oh, come on! Hey, tell that joke about borscht. When it's a funny.
But I see nobody eat borscht.
But it's a funny joke. When a husband is divorcing his wife, what's the joke about borscht? So I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm leaving you. What?
She said, I was cooking borscht all time. What other complaints he had? Yeah,
Yeah, I
was
cooked
perfect
you
wife.
borscht. I cook you borscht every week. What? Why you would leave me?
Yes.
So yeah, cooking for the man is a big part of this traditional values culture, guys, and it still is today. It's another contentious point. A lot of guys say, Ukrainian women are no longer traditional. Okay, maybe not as traditional as the past, like Anya's mom.
My mama doesn't cook.
Oh, come
Father
on.
cook because he enjoys
Oh,
it.
come on.
It's
But your
normal.
mom cooks as well.
Cooks for you. She wants to impress
Lucky me.
you. No, I mean, okay, she cook also in the weekends. I tell couple have to discuss this, and but I tell you what, my mama, when she cook, father don't care what she will cook. He will eat everything she cook, But for you, I need to prepare 4 different dishes. For this, I have no time, That's why we have help, because you need.
So GBF, he's getting a flat in Kiev for $2,200 a month. Well, that's a palace. I have a good friend in Kiev. Their rent is about in that same category. It's 160 square meters. It's huge. They have a gym inside the flat, 2 huge bedrooms that are size bigger than a normal Ukrainian flat. So it's a palace at 2,200. But yeah, you absolutely can find. Let's talk about, guys, the thing is, the prices are all over the map in Ukraine. Cost of living is all over the map in Ukraine. For example, your brother's house, all in, their flat, he's out of pocket about $350,000 for their flat. And it's a half-hour drive from the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
$350,000. And it's not that big. How big is it? Maybe 80 square meters? 100. So in 30 minutes from the center, $350,000. So that's what I mean. It's not all cheap in Ukraine. And the thing you guys have to appreciate is that because there were so many flats that, are Soviet era flats in Ukraine that have not been renovated, most of these flats and these averages that you're seeing here on Numbeo for flat prices, they're non-renovated old Soviet style flats, most of them. So it biases the numbers. It biases these average numbers. If you're looking for a quality place or new or freshly renovated, it's not exactly cheap. And there are a lot of places. There's one building in Kiev. I lived right behind it. I lived right behind it. And there wasn't a flat in that building less than $1 million, just to give you an idea. Okay, let's keep let's rolling ahead. Okay, want to ask you guys, if you could let me know in chat or in comments after live. A lot of you guys are asking these following questions, these 8 questions. Let me know, please, how important these are. Should we do a live stream on these questions? Each one would be probably a live stream. Question 1, what is personal income tax in Ukraine? And do most people pay it? And how do they avoid it? And am I going to have to pay tax? That's a question we get a lot. Question 2.
Number 2, what is personal income tax in Ukraine?
Honey.
For corporate.
I got the same question twice. Yeah.
I just don't want sitting and
yeah. What is corporate income tax? Should be. Yeah. So if you have a company and you're going to earn business income, what's the corporate or the business tax in Ukraine? Question 3, honey.
What is the best, cheapest way to get temporary or permanent residency in Ukraine, and how much it costs?
Let us know, guys. Please let me know in comments which videos you want us to come out with next. Is it safe for an expat living in Ukraine? Question 5.
Do I need to be afraid of corruption in Ukraine, police, mafia, politicians, medical, etc.?
Politicians, medical.
Politicians.
A lot of guys are really afraid of the corruption factor. Edward says you're cute.
Thank you.
She's very cute. I agree, Edward. What if I have a serious, okay, guys, if I have any reservations or fear factor living in Ukraine, this is it. This is it. Now, I'm of good health, but I am 55. So, and my family, of course, a man is always concerned about his family. So it's this question for you guys looking at moving to Ukraine. This is the one that I'm telling you should be fearful of. I am somewhat fearful of that, although I've mitigated that fear. Okay, so here's the question. What if I have a serious medical emergency in Ukraine? Heart attack, stroke. I mean, no. I mean, not me. Okay, not me, but excuse me, somebody else. Cancel. How or where can I get, high quality medical care? And skolka, how much does it cost? Who's going to be my doctor? Did he really graduate university, or did he buy his medical degree? The guy that's going to open me up. Now, this is a serious question, and it is worthy of your guys' fear and concern. So do you want me to do a video on that?
What is like?
And how can you develop a comfort level living in Ukraine with that question looming? And there is a way, and I've done that, and I'm currently doing that for myself and our family, because it's a scary question, right? Question 7, honey.
What is like living in Ukraine, like in Mute?
Huh?
Like in Mute?
Huh? Я не понимаю. Я не говорю по-русски. Я не говорю по-русски. Yeah. I can't, right? Guys, I've lived here for almost 5 years. I don't speak the language. And so it's like you're a mute, right? You're deaf and you can't speak. So what is it like, right? As an expat living here when you can't speak? You live as a mute, basically. What's it like? Do you want me to do a video?
Very challenging. Okay.
Well, it's definitely there's been times it's been challenging, and there's been ups and downs. But would you like me to share my story? And
Ukrainian people complain that I didn't teach him Russian. Imagine this thing. Why he didn't learn? He expect us to speak English or what?
Yeah. So okay, me and my 100 words of Russian. So okay, and then. Another question, question 8. Can I create what I call a personal happiness bubble living in Ukraine? Can you create a personal happiness bubble? Because you don't speak, you live as a mute. So can you create an environment that you can be really happy and live a quality life in Ukraine? Can you do that? Rodney's saying it must be a nightmare.
Not bubble. I mean, living in a mute.
Yeah. Living as a mute in Ukraine. Well, I can tell you, Rodney, if you call it a nightmare, I live the happiest life I ever have in my 55 years. I'm the happiest at age 55 living in Ukraine.
You live in bubble.
Because I live in my own happiness bubble, my personal family happiness bubble. And I asked myself that question: Would I be happier if we lived in Canada? And I really don't know. I'm very happy here. Now, you've got to create your own bubble, and there's a way to do it. So would you like me to talk about that? Of course, I know expats living here that are miserable. They are. And I say, listen, if you're so miserable, why you live in Ukraine? Get the flock out of here, right? So, okay.
Oh, look, Kevin wrote what? Read.
Let's get rid of that.
No.
Okay, I'm trying to move on.
No, please.
Okay. What is it?
Build
a high-rise and sell each apartment to only Western guys. Full concierge service at the front desk. Kevin. Well, Kevin, this is a good segue.
Yeah.
This is a good segue.
Community of Western people.
This is a good segue. We're actually doing that, but it's not a high-rise. We're building our first Canadian quality complex of homes right on the seafront. Okay. And it's going to be, we have found a builder that builds incredible Canadian quality homes. I never thought we would find this because, it's great to live in Ukraine, but one of my pet peeves is that it's very hard to find quality buildings, quality homes, either to rent or to buy. It's difficult. They're mostly very sub-quality to Western standards. And if you're going to form a happiness bubble, if you're like me, you don't want to be either living in a Soviet style condition, and you don't want to look out every day at the window at old Soviet block, buildings. It's not nice.
It's normal for Ukraine.
It's normal in Ukraine, but it just really chisels away at my daily happiness if I have to look at that. And I have lived in such, flats. So we are building already one subdivision right on the seafront, and we're going to be offering it, and we will probably live there. So you're welcome to be our neighbors. And by the way, this is the view from our subdivision. That's why we put this up, because we have a green screen studio now. So this is our design of choice for the homes that are going to be in our Canadian subdivision right on the seafront here in South Ukraine. So thanks for that. Thanks for that question, Kev.
Mm-hmm. I want to mention, some guys, right, I'd rather prefer to live in Kiev. Also about one big plus that you can find as a foreign, if you need help, like with services, that somebody will come to you, clean house or like cook for you, if you are single. It's much easier to find a good person with good attitude in small cities compared to big cities. They quite spoiled in big cities and charge big money and then don't appreciate work, and it's very hard to find. Only by recommendation you can find.
It's a great point, honey, you make. Like now we have, as I mentioned, we have a nanny and we have a chef that comes and cooks for us 5 days a week. But in Kiev, we looked for that. It was almost impossible to find. First of all, they are way more expensive. Here it's quite inexpensive, I must say, and then it's hard to find them. There isn't availability of personal chefs and nannies in Kiev. Here, basically in the countryside, people are hungry for any work, so you can get that. It's very inexpensive.
But normally, why Ukrainians, they don't need these services a lot when they live together with parents. Parents being very active with this. But now we move here, we have nobody to. If we need to go to Odessa, we cannot.
Yeah.
So. It's much easier to find somebody.
And before we move on to my hot real estate deals, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a teaser video on 2 of my hottest deals I've got on the table right now. I missed one major point, and that is you guys ask what city or where should I live in Ukraine? And this is my strong opinion, that it's a non-question question. Really, it should be, where do I have the highest probability of meeting Miss Right, your future Ukrainian wife? Presumably you're looking, most of you guys that are coming here, they're looking for a wife. So it should be, where should I live and how should I create an environment to stack the deck for my success at meeting her? Because once you meet her, where she's from is most likely the city you're going to end up living in, right?
No, if you date a lady who was born and grown up in Kiev, I don't think she would like to move to village, But if you live in the country and don't like big cities, why would you date ladies in big cities? She would.
Right.
Yeah. So if you are from the country, better to live in Ukraine in also small city. Maybe you have less choices, but you have very good ladies. I mean, they're really less demanding, much more traditional, and I think it's, if you also countrymen, it will be a good match for each other. Yeah.
I will say a few cities that you shouldn't live in. You shouldn't live in, a small town like where we live. You're not going to find many single ladies. We know a few, but Lviv, I don't think is good. Although it's one of my.
There is also single ladies, single moms also.
Yeah, but how many?
But I didn't introduce you to them.
You have a choice of 6.
Why you need to be introduced to?
No, I'm saying for guys.
Come on, there is 20 kilometers from here, big city, like 60,000, and there is a lot of single women.
Come on, you suggest guys that are single to live where we live? On the seafront? No, you need to find her and then bring her here.
In the summer.
Okay, I mean, let's not argue on live stream, okay?
There is a lot of tourists in summer, Beautiful. It's beach. Everybody in bikini. You can see.
Okay, listen. You're hijacking my live stream, baby. And you'll make me lose my train of thought. Okay, yeah, don't move to Lviv. It's actually my favorite city in Ukraine. It's very romantic. It's quite cheap.
Oh, with whom you was there?
It-
Not
it-
with me. It's very romantic.
Listen, I just didn't say it was. I love it in Lviv. It's very romantic and very
Okay, when you will invite me?
historic, very beautiful. But there's no marriage agencies there. So that's a clue, right, guys? The reality about Western Ukraine is they get enough tourism that ladies don't have a problem meeting a foreign man if they're inclined to date foreign men. There's lots of foreign men out and about, tourists. So it's just not, and there's not an availability of a lot of ladies in Lviv. It's just, your probability is low. I think if you're single, you're gonna come to Ukraine, by the way, it's the best thing you could do, by the way, guys. I mean, and if you have a high wish list, you're looking for a, not really a realistic age gap, you have a high wish list, you're looking for something that's not easy to find, then yeah, you best to come here and live and take your time at finding the one. Stack the deck for your success. There's no better way than living in Ukraine. Okay, so I wanted to say that before we move on as well, right? Okay. Okay, now for my favorite part is my hot deals, I'm calling it. So I think most of you guys know by now that since I moved to Sergeyevka, where we live, a very stunningly beautiful beachside resort. It's about 80 kilometers from Odessa. I've reignited my real estate investing passion because this place is absolutely an undiscovered seaside paradise. Before this, I lived in Sumy, I lived in Kyiv. Nothing turned me on in Sumy in terms of having a high investment upside, like something I'd want to invest real estate wise that I can see it's going to go up in value. There's a big demand for it. Kyiv, okay, again, nowhere in Ukraine I've been that I was excited that would ignite my real estate investing passion, because that's what I did, guys, right, for 20 years before I moved to Ukraine. So anyway, since I have found and done some real estate investing deals, and right now I have two of the hottest deals I have found here, and they happen to be, one of them, the best deal I've seen in my entire career. And I'm going to just show you a little bit of a snippet, a glimpse of what I'm up to here. And okay, one other point. In comments, I see a lot of you guys, or some, I should say, some of you guys are confused. Why is a marriage agency owner is now offering real estate deals in Ukraine? Have I become a realtor or something like this? No, not a realtor. I've been a real estate investor since I bought my first home in 1995. When I was sleeping in my car, actually in Vancouver, quite a story. But anyway, that is one of my passions. I've started matchmaking in Ukraine because I became passionate about this opportunity to help a lot of you guys, because just too much malarkey in this industry, right? So anyway, I thought it might be helpful to give you a bit of background. What is Joe Ricard's background in real estate investing? What I've done is I've put some videos on the channel, a bit of a blast from the past. It's two lawyers that I work with in Canada for the better part of, 10 plus years. And they discuss what type of deals I've done and what it's like to work with me. So you're welcome. Those are in the description below this video after the live stream is over. And you can see what two Canadian lawyers have to say about me. Okay. So next, I'm going to play a short teaser video of a hot deal I've got on the table right now for one investor. You can either buy it outright, so it's yours. In that case, I charge a 15% finder's fee, and you're on your own. But most guys prefer to do a 50-50 joint venture with me, where it's turnkey. I take care of everything. And this is a little subdivision deal. So I take care of the planning, the subdividing of the property, so the hydro, water, sewage services, and getting those all installed, and rental management. So it's completely passive for you. So I'll roll tape now on what is the Seaside Cottage subdivision deal. Hey guys, what did you think of that Seaside Cottage deal? So that video footage at the end, that's Sergeyevka. That's here. They got kiteboarding, they got windsurfing, sailing, fishing, sun tanning.
White swans.
Yeah, and a lot of swans. More swans I've ever seen in my entire life.
Medusas.
Medusas. Yeah. Okay.
Jellyfish.
Yeah, the girls call them medusas. They're terrified of the jellyfish. I got one on the side of my face this summer. Damn, that stung. Anyway, yeah, so that deal's on the table. If you're interested, just simply give me a buzz. Our phone number is in the description below. You can email me. My personal email is joe@matchguarantee, spelled y.com, and include your phone number, and I'll give you a ring and give you the skinny on all the details about it. The homes at the end of the video there, that is our builder here locally. He has more than a 10-year track record. He builds totally Canadian quality homes, best quality I've seen in Ukraine. So that is quite a discovery, because I was worried about finding a builder I could feel comfortable with actually going through the construction process in Ukraine, frankly speaking. So he is a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief for us here. Yeah, so the full video on that deal, the Cottage Seaside deal, it's in the description below this video. And then next, let me share with you what's coming up. This next little snippet video I'm going to play for you, it will show you a glimpse of what the mayor of Sergeyevka, Anatoly, what he calls the deal of a lifetime. Hey, isn't that what he said when we met with him? Mm-hmm. So he brought us this deal 2 weekends ago. So yeah, we are looking for one sophisticated status investor to put up 1.3 million, and your projected return on 1.3 is 16 million in 5 years. Now, I realize it's not a deal for everybody, but it's not a bad paycheck at the end of the day. I'm in due diligence stage on this deal. I've done a lot. Still got some stuff left to do. So if you're interested in that deal, definitely email me, please, and give me your phone number and I'll call you. There's a lot to talk about on that deal. So here basically is that deal. It's 180 hectares. It's basically half of town. So here's a little snippet on that deal. Imagine for just a moment if you could go back in time to 1960 Daytona Beach and buy land on the ocean. How do you think you would have done on that investment? Well, I'm standing on a lot of land here on the Black Sea. And I'm going to share with you how you can get it right now, cheap like borscht, and the huge upside and why in just a moment. First of all, let me set the stage. We're in Ukraine in a little bedroom resort community called Sergeyevka. It's about 20 kilometers from Zatolka. Zatolka is like Daytona Beach. We walked the beach. It was like 20 kilometers. It's like endless. Super deep like Daytona Beach. It's a party central like Daytona Beach, but pricing back to 1960, development back to 1960, huge upside. Here's a little bit why. I'm going to get into various levels of why this area is a great place to park your money. Hey guys, just looking at some of the questions. So yeah, I know that's a big fish deal, but if there's anybody that might be interested in that, just buzz me up. We do have an international investment consortium coming this week to check it out. There was a guy last week. So we will see. Okay. Listen, if any of you guys have a burning question, please pop it down into the chat box right now as we prepare to say bye for now. Just announcing next weekend, because we got some cool lives coming up. So next Saturday, February 6th, 10 a.m. Eastern, as always, my Anya is going to talk about what?
Your first virtual date, by Skype, distance date, because it's become very normal practice now due to Corona. So do's and don'ts and how to make it work. Yeah,
because you guys, like, this is a must video because you guys are messing up in so many ways. So you're going to learn the silly things that you guys are doing on your first introductory Skype call, because we offer a free Skype call with the lady of your choice to take us for a test drive. And you guys are asking her some pretty messed up stuff that's making her think you're a little bit, so we need to clear that up. You want to put your best foot forward. So that's really important. Yeah. And then on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, so that's February 7th, we're going to have a topic, Valentine's Day
gift guide for your beautiful Ukrainian woman.
Exactly. And that's important because there's some gifts that she's going to be happy, good girls are going to be happy to receive, and then some gifts that bad girls are going to be happy to receive. And you want to make sure you're given the right gift.
I'm curious to see this video.
And making the right impression. So let's jump into comments as we say bye-bye for now and see if there's any burning questions. I'm going to work backwards. So whoever asked the last question, somebody's coming soon. That's great. What do we got here?
It'll be less risky.
Yeah. Hey, Steve. I definitely understand your point, and I don't disagree with you. Okay. You got to be highly diligent here. That's for sure. But I can tell you one of my main, investing, what would you call it? My investment criteria. Make sure whoever you're partnering with, make sure you're making them more money than you're making. So make sure you're on a winning team where everybody is getting a piece of the pie, and you'll be covered, and everyone's got skin in the game. So that is the case with this big fish deal, this 1.3 million that's returning 16 million in 5 years. So time frame, that's worst case scenario 5 years, best case scenario return in 3 years. So I like to always be conservative. So we're calling it a 5-year time frame for that return of 16 million. Okay. So any other questions here?
Okay, I will just say that I'm very grateful and want to say a big thank you for you guys being with us today. This long period of the time, 1.5 hours. Oh my God, Joe.
Yeah.
I think guys already tired from us. But you will have 5 days to, restore yourself and then come back again to my Saturday live stream. You're welcome.
I got to throw this up before we go because we actually missed this point. Or no, you said it. Somebody's taking it off.
Banks that will keep money in dollars.
I think you mentioned it, didn't you? Yeah, basically there's, the equivalent of the FDIC in Ukraine,
yes,
insurance, deposit insurance in Ukraine is $5,000 maximum. And that's per account, per bank. So you definitely, if you're bringing cash, you want to spread it around in Ukraine, and you'll be insured up to 5,000 USD. It's a good point. Thanks, Edward. I mean, it's good to just highlight that. Thanks very much, guys. We will see you next time. Thanks for joining us here.
Okay, here.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Have a good life.
Yeah.
Create yourself that personal happiness bubble.
Here.
And live good.
Even not in Ukraine, wherever you live.
Have you been searching for a beautiful wife? Do you dream of meeting the perfect woman, but haven't found her? Well, imagine if there was a simple way this could all change for you. Imagine if there was a Canadian marriage agency that would introduce you to as many beautiful women as it takes until you find the one. Ukraine, a lost world of beautiful traditional women. At last, a place where you can find the beautiful wife you have always dreamed of. Every Ukrainian woman dreams of having a happy family. Now you can have a traditional beautiful wife from Ukraine, creating happy family memories forever. So what are you waiting for? Register right now and Skype our beautiful ladies completely free. So what makes us different, you might ask? Why not ask Google simply by searching Match Guarantee Reviews?